Welcome, everybody, to episode 204 of WordPress Weekly for Wednesday, August 19th. Getting close to the end of summer here, 2015. I'm your host, Jeff Chandler, joined by Marcus Couch.
Hello.
Marcus, is it still dry there? I thought I heard it. I thought I heard it rained in California a couple days ago, but I don't know.
Nope. Definitely did not rain.
All right.
Not where I'm at.
Not where you're
California is a big landmass that unfortunately I cannot cover. So just Southern California, though, we got nothing.
So we're here for another week of WordPress news. We originally had a guest scheduled for tonight, but he's been rescheduled for another time. So Marcus, it's just you and me. We're going to talk about the news of the week. And in fact, it kind of worked out because there's some big news to talk about. We've been discussing this event now for the past few weeks, but yesterday, WordPress 4.3 named Billy, named after jazz singer Billie Holiday, who is a female jazz artist, is available for download. So if you haven't updated your site yet, back up everything and do it now, because I said so. But it's quite the release. So there's a lot of nifty little features in here. So first thing I want to talk about is that menus are now in the customizer, much to the chagrin of some people, but I've played around with it a little bit, and it's actually not bad. It's pretty quick. And the one of the neat things about it is the team. I know Weston Reuter and Nick Halsey and some of the other people involved with the project, they actually created this sort of partial refresh type response so that if you were changing menus, you wouldn't see a full reload, but maybe just a partial refresh so that you could see how the menu would look on the site. That actually makes the whole experience a lot smoother. It's faster, and you can just drag menu items around, and it's pretty nifty. It's not bad.
I have not yet had the chance to mess around with 4.3 yet, but I probably will after the show today, just because that's the first time frame that I've had available since it was released. But I'm not going to go into the whole menus and the customizer thing with any kind of agenda. I'm going to try it out, even though I've heard, both sides of the story. It's, are these the same, and we know some of these people that are talking about this, but is this like, you've heard the term Luddites, right? Luddites is, those are followers of Ned Ludd, who, when they had weaving looms and things like that, he threw his wrenches and everything into the machinery to protest the advancement of technology. That's like when you hear the expression he threw a wrench into it. Well, that's where it comes from also. So I'm not going to judge it just based on the advancement of the customizer. There's got to be some wisdom behind it, just like everything in WordPress. And I'm really looking forward to seeing exactly how it works firsthand. So what else? What else does it do besides menus in the customizer? What else have we got on tap for 4.3?
Well, Mark Jakewith led the effort to improve the way passwords are chosen and changed in WordPress. So now if you go to the account management page in WordPress, there is a generate password button, and it will generate a strong password by default. And this page also has undergone some UI changes so that the password strength meter blends right into the password section and tells you immediately if you start to use a password that's not exactly strong. And so it's a lot easier to see when you're straying off the beaten path of not using a strong password. In fact, WordPress, the amount of changes that have gone into WordPress now in terms of strong passwords, they've almost made it pretty hard for users not to choose and use a strong password. I mean, you really sort of have to go out of your way to use a weak password. So that's neat, and you'll find this screen on the password reset screen, the add new user screen, and the initial WordPress install screen. So and also there's a big change where WordPress will no longer email passwords, and the password reset links expire after 24 hours now. So
good.
I'm not sure when they expired last time, but now you don't have to worry about if somebody hijacks your email address or gets in between you and in the email, the links expire after 24 hours. So hopefully, if they do get a hold of it, hopefully it's expired by then.
Yeah, that ensures that somebody that just gets into your Gmail or whatever doesn't get your password straight off.
Right.
And I always thought that the emailing the password was not advisable. So this is great. This is a very good advancement as far as the security front within WordPress on just a rudimentary user level.
Yeah. So basically, WordPress does everything it can to encourage users to choose and use a strong password without requiring one. I think there's definitely a difference there between requiring one and strongly encouraging you to use one. Hopefully, it kind of stays that way. I'm kind of on the fence whether I'd be okay with WordPress requiring the use of a strong password. But the way it is now, I like how they've left that choice still up to the users. But
I think they should require it.
Well,
it's my site. Why can't I have my users have a degree of security on my site?
Well, there's probably a plugin for that. So just install a plugin, I guess.
Weak passwords, that's the new plugin. Weak password. Enable weak passwords.
No, like a plugin where you require a strong password, where the password meter has to stay strong or else the user cannot proceed.
Yes, and I did review one of those on the plugin picks of the week about a couple months back.
All right, nice. See, they already exist. Up next, we have these things called site icons. Now, a lot of people out there will be familiar with the fave icon, the little 16 by 16 pixel postage stamp that you'd see when you maybe in your bookmark listings in your browser, or if you save a page from the website to your tab or somewhere in your browser in your favorites area, you'll see it there. Well, now they got these things called site icons. What a site icon is, it's a 512 by 512 sized image, and it's used for browsers, iOS, Android, and Microsoft devices when a visitor bookmarks your site. So on these devices, if you have a site icon enabled, when somebody saves or bookmarks your page to their device, it sort of looks like an app icon, and that app icon is your site icon. So now if you go into the customizer, up at the top, there's a panel called Site Identity, and within there, you can upload and crop and configure the site icon. It'll automatically be used across any device that's detected when they browse your website.
Yeah, that's huge, and that means no default WordPress fav icon in being displayed. That also means like you said, you can bookmark to a home screen in terms of now you've got that cool little icon looking app looking thing that people put on their iPhones and Android devices. Works great. And the fact that you don't have to go and upload 5 different versions of it, the fact that you just upload one image and it creates all of them from there, that's incredible. So kudos. And the addition to that, to me, that's the most important feature in 4.3.
So for anybody out there who is developing websites for clients, make sure that you configure the site icon. It's just another thing that you have to configure or can configure for the client, so that it's just one step taken care of for them before you hand the site off to them.
Yeah, don't tell them it's only one step, because you might be able to bill an hour for it.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Money making tips from Marcus.
That's right.
Up next, we have these things called text patterns, or more commonly known as formatting shortcuts. There's also, and we're talking about some enhancements that have gone into the visual editor instead of WordPress. There's also a quick link toolbar, and there's been a couple of changes to the way words and characters are counted when you're editing and writing your post. So WordPress has these formatting shortcuts are kind of similar to Markdown, but they're not quite Markdown. They're kind of just shortcuts where, let's say, for example, if you type in this, I don't know, what do you call this? The star symbol, whatever, you do Shift 8. What do they call that?
That would be an asterisk.
Asterisk. Okay, yeah. Jeez, some star-looking thing. So if you type the asterisk and hit the space bar, it'll automatically convert it, whatever it is, to a bulleted list. Or you could hit the hyphen and space bar. It'll change it to a unordered list. Or let's say you want to create a numbered list. You would just type in 1 period space, boom, and it automatically turns it. So what this does, it allows you to do a couple of different things and format your content in a visual editor without ever having to leave the keyboard. You don't have to use the mouse like is pretty common that I used to do in terms of, you'd highlight some content or you'd hit a button and you'd hit the button again. Well, I could do it all now just from the keyboard. Now, the key is memorizing these formatting shortcuts. So I'm ending up having to train myself to use them instead of, I'm so used to hitting that button. And I've, in the times where I've remembered to use them, I've noticed it's helped me speed up my ability to write content. And it's very convenient not having to hit that button. So it's pretty nice. There's a couple of other ones. For example, you can type in the pound for header 2 or 3 pound signs in a row plus a space. The text will turn into the H3 header.
Really?
And yeah, there's some cool stuff like that. H1 is not supported. Of course, there's that. But if you type in, let's say, the greater than symbol with and then you hit space bar, and with the text, it'll automatically turn that stuff into a black quote. So there's neat little formatting shortcuts in there. It's in the visual editor. It doesn't work in the text version of the editor. I've actually turned myself into a visual editor user every day now, and I'm loving it. I love these little enhancements.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, I could see you'd probably get annoyed if that's something that you typically do, is do a lot of asterisk typing.
Right. So for some people out there, they might get upset that maybe they want to create their list their own way. They don't want to have WordPress do it. Well, as soon as you trigger the shortcut, if you hit the backspace key or escape, it'll remove the shortcut and it'll go back to just being an asterisk.
That's a good tip.
So there you go. There's also in WordPress 4.2, I didn't discover this feature until I'd say a week or two after its release, and it was somebody had mentioned it on Twitter. But in the visual editor, if you had a URL copied to the clipboard, you could highlight text, push Control V, and it automatically made that, pasted that URL to that text, so I didn't have to click the insert link toolbar button. And it's one of my favorite features because I write content every day, so it was just really convenient. Well, in 4.3, when you click on one of those links that you set up in the visual editor, there's a little sort of toolbar that shows up that will give you a preview. It'll show you the URL of that link text, and there's a pencil icon where you can edit that URL. Actually, it opens up the modal as if you would click the button, or you could just click X, and it will, I think it'll remove, I'm pretty sure it'll just remove that toolbar or something. I might remove the link, but it's really cool. That way it's just another way of not having to click a button in a tiny MC editor to see or edit a URL. Pretty convenient.
So what do you hit to do it?
So if you have a URL and if you're in the visual editor and you have some text that's linked, just click on that link and you'll see a quick link toolbar show up so you can see the URL of that link.
Got it. Okay.
Really cool shortcut. So there's also like, for example, when you're writing content now, the update counts happen when pressing enter or return. It will refresh when you stop typing, and apparently a lot more characters that shouldn't be counted as words are now excluded. So the word count and character counts in WordPress should be a bit more accurate now. Of course, in the show notes, we'll have links to where you can find out more information if that's a concern to you.
Yeah, and you people out there that are blogging a certain amount of words per day.
That's what I was thinking about.
Your work just got a little bit harder.
Yeah, I was just kind of thinking about that, actually, now that you bring that up. So there's also been some changes to the admin bar. Now, if you look at the admin bar on WordPress 4.3, you'll notice that under the main menu, your site's name, you'll see dashboard, themes, widgets, and menus. There used to be quite a few more links in there, but what they've done now is they moved the customize link out of that sort of some menu area, and they've placed it at the top level menu item, or as a top level menu item in the admin bar. So it has its own sort of place there. And the reason they did this is because there's two different interfaces. You can go to the native WordPress backend page to administer themes, widgets, and menus, or you could just go to the dashboard. And then there's the customizer interface where you can change and edit themes or configure widgets. So by separating the two, it gives the user a better idea of which interface they're going to be going into. You have a choice now instead of hoping that when you click on themes, it takes you to the themes page in the back end of WordPress, but in reality, it would open up the customizer. So I think that's a big change. I'd like the fact that I can now choose between which interface I want to go to, and it's one of those neat changes I like. And I know we've talked about it before. I've seen many other people say, some people like going to the back end of WordPress to those specific admin pages for themes or for widgets, because they like administering their content that way, and other people just like the customizer. So at least this way, you have a better idea of where to go. You could pick and choose where you want to go instead of clicking the link and not really being sure which interface you're going to end up in.
Yeah, anything that helps. I mean, those things aren't really anything that I'm huge into, but it helps, and any little bit helps. I think those are advancements, and as long as you're moving that stick just a little bit further, it's only a matter of time till REST API and flying cars hits.
Yes, flying cars. A couple other noteworthy changes to keep in mind to the much rejoicing of people worldwide. Comments are now turned off on pages by default.
Yes. If we could only get them on posts, that would be excellent.
No, please. No. There's a couple other things too. If you're into theme design, there's a new template that's been added called singular.php, which is now part of the WordPress template hierarchy. You'll have to look at the codex or the show notes page to figure out what that's all about and how you can take advantage of it. A couple other things, a couple multi-site issues. The old code, the old distraction-free writing code has been removed, as well as the old theme preview code. Legacy stuff that's no longer used is now out of WordPress. So a little bit of removing cruft. That's always a good thing.
Is it still there, but just in different code?
Nope. I mean, the code that powered it is gone. It's out of WordPress.
There is no more distraction-free writing.
No, there is. See, there's a new distraction-free writing mode, but they left the legacy one in there.
I see.
But now they've taken it out, so all you have is a new one.
Got it.
So that's pretty neat there. And all in all, pretty solid release. There is over, it took a couple of months. It was led by Konstantin Oberlin and did a good job there. And let's see, there were, I think there was about 200 and there's more than 250 committers to this release that received props. So congratulations to them. Congrats to any and all people who volunteer their time and support to the WordPress project. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for your contribution.
And let's see, Scott Taylor is the lead for WordPress 4.4, and development is already underway. In fact, today there's been a post on the Make WordPress course site where he's asked people to submit their wish list items for things they would like to see included in WordPress, specifically 4.4. I have not read that yet, but we're probably going to talk a little bit about that next week after it gets fleshed out a little bit.
What do you think? What do you want? What's on your list right now in your head?
Geez. Oh man, that's a good question. I'd like I write content in WordPress every day. So if they can somehow continue to iterate and make the WordPress editor the best damn content authoring experience possible, I'm all down for that. If they can make it any
Okay.
better, that's what I'm down for. I don't know. What about you?
Um,
Anything, your one flying car feature that you would want
yeah,
to see in
I would like to
WordPress?
see built-in native into WordPress backup and restore.
Oh boy.
That's what I'd like to
Okay.
see. Instead of import export of just posts, I'd like to see backup and restore, and I'd like options as to what to back up. Maybe I want to back up my theme. Maybe I want to back up my plugins. Maybe I want to back up everything, or just maybe the database. Let me do that,
Hmm.
please.
And I guess there'd be a big debate on whether that's plugin territory or core territory. I mean, I get what you're saying. It would be great if it wasn't core, but geez, I don't know how you'd get around the that's plugin territory argument.
Why should it be plugin territory argument? Shouldn't that be out of the box something that it does? Is
Well, I
back
mean,
itself up? I mean, come on,
where
that's
does it back
ridiculous.
itself up to? I mean, do you? I guess you would hook it into a service. I mean, does you download it locally? I mean, is that what you do? Just
Well, yeah, let's start there. Let's start with download it locally. Like I can back it up on demand and download the zip file if I want to.
okay. All
Okay,
right.
here's another thing. I want multi-site to be able to export one of the tentacles from multi-site into a regular install. I want
Hmm.
that. That is so difficult. I did a client job about a month ago. Somebody had a multi-site, and whoever they had for an administrator ended up dying, and
Oh.
so the hosting was going kaput. And so they wanted to take three of the sites that were in the multi-site, which I still had access to, and make them into just regular old installations. Now it's easy to take a single installation and pull it into multi-site. There's plugins for that, but going the other way is nearly impossible.
Wow, I did not know that. Good to know. You should
Yeah.
go. You should go to your. There are some people who would really like to see some things done with multi-site, but when push comes to shove, it sort of doesn't get the attention it deserves. But I would totally, if I were you, go to that, leave a comment on there and talk about, request exactly that, and at least it's there.
Yeah. So, why is it so hard to do that? All you've got to do is see what plugins are active on that particular iteration within multi-site. See what, I mean, I know there's a question of users and all that crap, but so what? What if I want to just copy the site framework and put it on a single installation? What if one subdomain, subdirectory, whatever you want to call it, what if it gets red hot and it deserves its own domain and I want to get it off of there so I'm not, consuming bandwidth of the other sites within the multi-site installation? It doesn't let me. So
Hmm.
that needs to be fixed.
Well, you should definitely go over there and put your stamp on approval of this is what I want. This is on my
Yeah, I mean,
wish
I didn't
list.
mind making money. That was great. Thank you. But um, I can only imagine what a difficult problem that it is for people out there that have no resources to get something like that taken care of by an expert like me. But it's it's something that just seems so simple that you should be able to just turn it off and on. But I don't know why.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like the import and export of content in WordPress to XML RPC. It should be simple. It should work, and then most times it doesn't work. And
Right.
it's a head scratcher. So let's see. Some news that came out today that's near and dear to my heart is that the WordPress Foundation has begun accepting applications for the Kim Parcell Memorial Scholarship. Now, for those who don't know, Kim Parcell is a beloved member of the WordPress community who passed away at the beginning of this year. In fact, there's a couple episodes ago where I did pretty much entire episode devoted to Kim. So if you wanted to learn more about Kim, you can always go back and listen to that episode. But in her memory and to celebrate her life and her contributions to WordPress, the WordPress Foundation thanks to Jen Milo and Matt Mulloweg, came up with a sort of scholarship that would allow other people, both men and women, sort of in her position, to end up applying for the scholarship, and they would have their travel paid for. Pretty much be all expense paid trip to the big WordPress conference, which is now WordCamp US. So it's a actually I should take that back. It's not a scholarship for both men and women. It's specifically a scholarship for a woman contributor with financial need who could use some financial aid, who's never been to the big WordPress conference before. And it will cover costs, the ticket costs, flight, lodging. It won't cover stuff like taxis and meals outside the official event or airport transportation. So maybe not all expense paid. There's only going to be one scholarship awarded per year. It's funded by the foundation. The application deadline is September 2nd, 2015, and the decision will be made by September 16th. Now, because of the nature of the scholarship, applicants have to fulfill specifically 4 requirements. So you have to be a woman, and this also includes trans women. You have to be an active contributor to the WordPress project through one of the contributor teams or as a local meetup WordCamp organizer. Of course, you need to be someone who needs the assistance of financial aid, and as someone who has never attended WordCamp San Francisco, aka what used to be the big annual WordPress conference.
Yeah.
So Kim was an older woman who sort of encouraged others, especially women around her age, to sort of get involved with WordPress. So in light of this, the foundation is kind of asking that those in a sort of similar situation to Kim in terms of age and contributing to WordPress specifically should apply for the scholarship. So all in all, just great to see that. It's just great. I mean, overall, the scholarship is great because it's a way to remember Kim every year. And it's awesome because it affords or awards one particular person each year the same opportunity that Kim had, where she once told me that the attending WordCamp San Francisco was one of the best things that ever happened to her in her life, one of her best experiences. So it would be awesome if each year one person gets chosen to sort of have a potentially similar experience. And that's just what the scholarship's all about.
Yes, and if you are the winner of this scholarship, then Jeff and I will also buy you some beer.
Or a beverage of your choice, a slice of pizza, something.
Yes. So you know what I just did by saying that, right? I just leaked it out that I'm actually going to go to this. I'm going to freeze my tail off going to Philadelphia. I've decided, Jeff.
Yeah, that's me just sitting here in awe.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say.
Well,
the good news is if you stay at one of the hotels connected to the event, you don't have to go outside.
That's good. That's good. Even though I was born and raised in Chicago and I'm used to cold, I'm now indoctrinated for nearly a decade here in Southern California, and where 60-degree weather makes me shiver. So
10 years of not seeing snow.
Well, no, I've seen it. I've traveled to the Midwest in the winter and things, and it sucked. But I'll make do. I'll just get a bigger coat and a nice hat.
That's great. It would be great to see you again.
Yeah.
At the big conference of them all, the first WordCamp US. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
And hopefully, we'll find out, of course, in September who the winner of the scholarship is. And you can bet that when I get to WordCamp US, I will find this individual and I will ask them questions. See if I can't do a little one-on-one interview with them.
Well, that would be fun.
Either during the show, or I think better yet would be to have them come on after the show or do an interview after the experience. That's after it sinks in. That would be a better time to do it.
Though I think it's about time you and I actually do a show at one of these things. And get people on. I guess plan ahead. We could do it.
I guess we could do that. Well, we might be able to do that. I guess we'll give it a shot.
Mm-hmm.
Put that on the planning committee.
All right. Duly noted.
Duly noted. So Nick Haskins, we've talked about him a couple of times. He's actually rebranded Lasso. Lasso's the front end editor that he's created. Well, now it's called Edit Us. Edit Us? Edit Us? Editors.
Yeah.
Edit
I was
Us.
hoping he'd go with a beard thing.
Because
He's got like a 10-foot long beard. He's like Rumpelstiltskin.
it looks pretty cool on him. He's got the ZZ Top thing going on. But
something.
So he's rebranded Lasso. It's now Edit Us. He had to go through with the rebranding before the brokerage firm he's going to be working with would start the process of looking for someone to buy ASOP Interactive LLC, which we talked about a week or two ago. Now, the big thing about this rebranding is that it requires a manual update. So if you're using Lasso 0.9.8, you're going to have to manually update because it includes the renaming of all the admin menu items that use the term Lasso are now Edit Us. But after that update, you'll be able to continue automatically updating it as normal. So just a
Great
tidbit out there.
And whoever acquires Edit Us, contact me, marcuscouch@gmail. And let me tell you what Nick didn't do in ASOP that he could have made millions with.
Free business advice. You heard it here.
No, not free. Not free.
Well,
not
okay.
free.
Well, not free, but we'll see.
Yeah, that thing's got so much potential. And I know Nick's, a hardworking guy, and it was only really Nick and a handful of others that were helping him out. And whoever takes it over, you got a gold mine. So think about it.
So guess what? Breaking news. Automatic is hiring.
Yes. Yes.
And what are they hiring for?
Well, a number of different positions. They've got, let me pull it up here. You caught me off guard.
They have Code Wrangler, UX Explorer. I mean, this list has gotten pretty long since the early days, since 2006, 2007. Human Resources Wrangler, Lounge Assistant.
Yeah. WordPress Tavern Keeper. What? No.
No. Wrong company.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it looks cool. They're even showing a picture of the automaticians hard at work here. Must have caught him on an off day. It looks like it's a great thing. And, what are the benefits of being an automatician? You can work anywhere you want, right? You can work from home, anywhere you live, anywhere in the country. You don't have to go in and punch in.
This is true. This is the thing I found interesting is that Matt Mullenweg wrote about, that Automatic is hiring on his personal blog. And he says that for all except 2 positions, you can live and work wherever you like on the entire planet. So I wonder what those 2 positions are that you have to. That's the first time I've heard of positions that require you to be somewhere.
Well, that's probably the cook and the cleaner at the Automatic office.
The lounge assistant?
Yes.
Possibly?
You have to be there, yes.
Well, what they're really looking for, they have a really high demand for people outside of U.S. time zones. I think they've got the U.S. covered a good bit, but if you're out in Europe or China or somewhere out in that area, anywhere outside of the U.S. time zones, they're looking for you. You probably have a higher shot than perhaps someone in the U.S. to get a job at Automatic, pending you have all the other qualifications as well.
Yes, or if you want to move to China, go ahead and then apply.
I guess that's one way. All right, you're playing the game.
Yeah.
You're playing to win.
Location.
So definitely.
No, don't do that. I'm not recommending that.
Automatic.com/work with us. Of course, we'll link to that in the show notes. And there's just quite a few different positions here. Woo Happiness Engineer, BRPT, which apparently is what is it?
Burp it? I don't know.
No. It's a different language.
Oh, Burp It's the next thing from Nick Haskins to come out.
Oh, well, stop it.
I don't know. No, one thing I will say about working for Automatic, we've been told about this loophole. Can I even mention it? I don't know. Is that
Um,
it's when you let's say you live in Beverly Hills and you get a job at Automatic. They pay you for based on what you make and what you should make in Beverly Hills, and then you could like move to Indiana and you still make your Beverly Hills paycheck.
well, I mean, I've heard rumors that that's how it works. Where if you are hired, if you live somewhere and you're hired, you will be paid sort of the wage of that area wherever you're living at the time. And if you move to a different area that requires, I think, a higher standard of living or a higher living wage, that you can't renegotiate your salary to make more.
Right.
So
and,
if
and they
you're
also
if,
can't make you take less.
so if all that is true and you're going to end up moving somewhere, I would definitely recommend moving somewhere that has a lesser cost of living than where you're at now.
Well, after you get hired in the
Right.
big high rent district, sure.
So
So you get two choices: either move to China or move to somewhere where it's really expensive to get your job, and then move back somewhere else.
yeah, I don't know how this is all going to work out, but if somebody goes through with it,
that's why I'm not an employment counselor. I'm not a recruiter. I'm not an employment counselor, and quite frankly, I don't know anything about how Automatic works as far as the money. But I'm just because we've talked to people that work for Automatic and all that, so we kind of know based on what they've told us. But that's their opinion, and they could be way off.
All right, all that stuff is just speculation that we were just talking about, and we don't know anything for sure. I mean, it's all I hear is hearsay, rumors. I don't see the documents. I don't work there. I don't know what goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah, but if
I
you
do
move
know
to
people
China,
that do though.
If you move to China, tell us because I need to block you.
Oh, for God's sake! And with that, let's get into our plugin picks of the week. Unless there is anything else that you want to get off your mind here regarding WordPress.
No. Plugins is a big thing, but I'm so glad 4.3 came out. I'm so glad the Kim scholarship is back in action. We were speculating maybe they might make a theme. They might make
might name a release after her.
Yeah. I'm glad none of that happened. I'm actually glad.
The scholarship is much more of a lasting memory.
Yeah.
Than any of that other stuff could have been.
Absolutely. So let's talk plugin picks of the week, shall we? The first one, this is a weird plugin, Jeff. It's called WP Remote Multi-Site Post. Now, it doesn't really have anything to do with multi-site. I don't even know. Did these people even know that there was something called multi-site? What they should have said is multi-installation. How about that? WP Remote Multi-Site Post. It's this advanced remote posting. Now, here's what happens. You go from a WordPress master site. So let's just say we had the WordPress Tavern, right? And then my slave site, I guess you could say, would be like marcuscouch.com. What it does is it uses the XML RPC call so you can clone posts to other WordPress installations automatically. So you post to one place and it goes to multiple different sites through the XML RPC, which generally you need to go turn that on in order for that to work. So remember, this is not a multi-site plugin, but it does publish to multiple single installations from one posting automatically. So it's called WP Remote Multi-Site Post, and I thought it was a pretty killer plugin that does a lot of stuff that I know a lot of people could use. The next one is called Facebook Group Feed, and it displays Facebook group posts and feeds to your web page. Now, normally you've only seen like the business or fan page, as it's called, be able to come back into WordPress, but now you can import complete group posts right into WordPress. Thought that was pretty cool. So a lot of people out there have Facebook groups. I could only imagine if they just migrated the advanced WordPress group into a page. That would be pretty wild. But this one works very well. It's called Facebook Group Feed. And finally, we've got one called WP Webinar System. Now, if you've wanted to have webinars on a limited basis, just a few people maybe, or just something for a business, or perhaps you're a developer or a designer and you want to integrate webinar capability so that they can do a webinar from their homepage. This one's really great. So it runs it all within your WordPress website. You can customize everything around it, and it uses all of the live stream features of Google Hangouts. So you can also use pre-recorded video from either Vimeo or YouTube. You can interact with your attendees by letting them ask questions, and all of the webinar pages are completely responsive, so even people viewing it on a tablet or a mobile device can watch the webinar. It has a really nice feature in which all of the visitors that attend your webinar, you can export all of them in a CSV or an Excel file with this plugin. And this also sends reminder emails for people that sign up to the webinar and tells them, there's 20 minutes left and the webinar is going to start. You can configure all of that stuff. Now, the light version is in the repository, but there is a pro version with more features like automated recorded webinars, MailChimp integration, and a bunch of other stuff. But the free version does so much that I've seen a lot of paid plugins that do this same kind of thing that run for like $100 just for that kind of functionality that the free version in the repository gives you. So check it out. It's called WP Webinar System, and those are my plugin picks of the week.
Awesome. So as a reminder, everybody, if you haven't upgraded to WordPress 4.3 yet and you have the ability to do so, back up everything, your files, database, everything. When I say everything.
Yes.
And go ahead and do the update and send us an email and tell us what you think. Hey, I forgot to mention that everybody listening should go over to iTunes and give us a review. Whether it be 1-star, 5-star, doesn't matter. Tell us what you think of the show on iTunes. And if you give us, put in a little URL in there, we'll read it, give you a little link love. We always enjoy hearing from our listeners. In fact, Marcus, I got an email today from someone who listens to our show down in Tampa, in Tampa, Florida area. And I will have that ready for us next week. But pretty cool. Just another fan of the show, enjoys listening to us. And she says we help her out a lot just by talking about things that are going on in the WordPress community. So I'll definitely share that with you, and we'll talk about it next week on next week's show. And hopefully we get to read off a iTunes review. That would be nice.
Yeah, absolutely. And the reason we ask for these iTunes reviews is because the more reviews that we get, and obviously the higher ranking in terms of the whole, if you go to iTunes, you hit, you type in WordPress, we'd like to be in that first search, right? We want to be in the top 5, and we're kind of hovering in the top 10, but we just need your extra help to get us there. So even if you listen to us on Stitcher or one of those other things, and you have an iTunes account, just log into iTunes real quick and just spend a couple minutes and leave us a review. We'd really appreciate that. So
the guest on tap for next week is Miriam Schwab, who we rescheduled earlier in the month. So it'll actually be, I think a 4 p.m. show next week. We'll see what happens. And until then, everybody, I forgot to tell everybody you can find show notes.
Yeah, where are you going?
I don't know. I want to get the hell out of here. This does it for this episode of WordPress Weekly. You can find show notes for this episode and on previous episodes on WPTavern.com. God, I'm in a hurry. You could follow me on Twitter at Jeffro, JEFFR, 0, not O, but a 0.
Right.
Marcus?
You can find me at my website, marcuscouch.com, and onlinebizcoach.com. And you can find me on Twitter at marcuscouch.
Excellent mundo. So until next week, next Wednesday afternoon, everybody get over this hump day, get to the weekend, stay safe, and we'll talk to you again next Wednesday afternoon. See ya.